Hi, everyone. I'd like to do a short breathing practice with you today. And when it comes to breathing, it can be really helpful to have some extra tools to increase our awareness and to help us feel a little better what's going on. And this can be the case with a lot of things, but in the case of breathing, because breathing is occurring automatically without our conscious aware control most of the time, it can be really extra helpful to have some feedback to help guide our attention when we're exploring changing how we're breathing. So I have a couple of items with me today. I have a resistance band. Don't need to use a resistance band. You can use a yoga strap. You can use a bathrobe tie, any kind of band or scarf that you could tie around your body, maybe even a belt. I'm using this largely because it contrasts with my sweater, so to help you see it a little better. Clashes with my pants, but it's all good. The other thing I have here is a couple of balls. These are yoga tune-up balls, but you don't need to use these balls. You could use any two balls of a similar size that you have, tennis balls or whatnot. You could also make these by balling up some thicker socks. So anything that you can use that's going to be round-ish and a little bit on the firm side to help create a little bit of different input as you're working with your breath. So we're going to place those items to the side for just a moment. And I recommend doing this practice upright to start with, but then you could experiment with picking at least the band into some different positions and notice what you notice. You don't have to sit on the floor, so feel free to sit in a chair or to stand if you prefer. I'm going to take a moment to feel your connection to the ground. So whether that's the actual ground or maybe some props or some furniture that is below you. Notice where you can receive the support of the ground fairly easily, where it feels like you're able to settle in and let the ground hold you up, and where maybe there's a little more effort happening. Nothing wrong with it. Just something to tune into. And then start to notice that you're breathing. And to the extent that you can, and I know sometimes this can be hard, but to the extent that you can, just feel your breath as it's unfolding, right? Without trying to make it any particular way. Just feeling what you feel. See if you can notice where you feel your breath moving. Where in your body is the breath showing up the most strongly? And also notice if any part of your breath feels more challenging. What your overall experience of breathing is like right now. I don't know is an acceptable answer, but feel into whatever it is that is making sense to you, catching your attention, right? Whatever stands out. And then we're going to take your strap or your band. The nice thing about the band is it's a little wider, but there's lots of ways to work with this. What we're going to do is we're going to take this around your body and we're going to fasten it around your rib cage. And we're going to take it down to lower third of your rib cage. So it's going to sit below your breastbone and the sides are going to come out onto your sides of your rib cage. So it's not way down in your waist or your hips. And then you're just going to fasten this. And because this is a resistance band, it holds with just a little bit of a tie. If you're working with a bathrobe tie or something like that, you may have to double knot it. We want this to be snug enough that you can feel it. Not so tight that it's really restricting your breathing. And then tune into your breath again. Just see if having that sensation right on the level of your skin, that little bit of hugging in of that band or strap, does that change your awareness of how you're feeling your breath just as it is? And then imagine you take the same volume of breath you have right now. Okay, so not trying to make the breath any deeper than it is. And just redirect more of the volume of the breath into the side ribs. You can think about breathing into the strap and the sensation of the strap over here in the sides. So you're broadening the side ribs out into the strap as you breathe in. And noticing what you feel as you breathe out. You might notice that in order to feel into that, especially if you're newer to this practice, maybe you do end up using a little more volume. So then see if you can back off. Can you let your breath be quiet? Figure out how to direct more of it into your side body. And then tune into where the strap is behind your body and your back. Without deepening your breath, can you take the same volume of air and just send more of it into the back of the strap? You're using the back of the strap as a guide to give you some sensation. And just seeing if you can feel or imagine your breath filling the space under the strap as you breathe in. And you feel into how to do that in your body. And if you made your breath big to make that happen, then can you back off, let your breath be quiet, still feel that back body breathing? Now, without necessarily making your breath any bigger or deeper, feel into the whole circumference of your rib cage. All of the places the strap is touching all the way around. And now, if you were to take that same volume of air, but direct it evenly into the strap, so you're expanding the strap in all directions, and then noticing what happens as you breathe out. No need to get it perfect. No need to struggle with this, right? Just see what happens when you try to do that. And over time, can you develop an easier, smoother, more well distributed expansion of your rib cage? Maybe it feels like one side is always a little behind or a little less. So then you might focus a little bit more there. And when you're ready, it's easy to do. We're going to take the strap off, place it to the side, and then breathe with the memory of the strap. So now the strap is gone, right? But you're thinking about where the strap was. You maybe still have some sensory impression on your skin. And you find what it feels like to breathe evenly into the whole circumference of your ribs. Notice how that feels. So the second thing we're going to do is we're going to take these two balls. We're going to place them up in the armpits. I know, it's a strange ask. So you're really going to put it all the way up in your armpit if you can. Sometimes the second one's a little challenging to get in. If you only have one ball, by the way, you can do one side at a time. It takes twice as long. Now, I didn't warn you, but you may, if you're trying this, have discovered that one or both sides is tender. You may also feel like that ball doesn't want to stay, so sometimes that happens too if there's a lot of tightness in this area. So to the extent that you can, you're going to hold the ball there. You're just going to hold it. I'm not doing anything. I'm not pushing or trying to do anything at the moment. Just letting the ball be there, noticing what I feel. So if this is a lot or it's hard, you might try again just one side at a time. Sometimes that makes it a little easier to manage. And then while I'm here, I'm going to start to really feel my breath moving in the space underneath the ball. It's like I'm breathing into the space where the ball is as I breathe in. Relaxing as I breathe out. Noticing sensation. If anything doesn't feel good, always feel free to discontinue. And we'll take a few more moments here, feeling any sensation, feeling your breath moving in the area under the ball. And then when you're ready, you can remove those balls, place them to the side. A moment to notice what happens after you do that. Sometimes after using the balls and the armpits, it can also be really interesting just to stand up and walk around, because there can be a whole body cascade of changes as a result of releasing tension up in this area. So feel free to take a short walk if you want to. Just notice what you notice in your body. And then also notice as you're breathing, can you have awareness of how your breath is moving in your armpits, in your lower ribs, front ribs, back ribs as you're breathing. Maybe carrying some of that breath awareness with you, go into the rest of your day. If you have any questions or you want to share what you experienced, I'd love to hear those in the comments. Hope you have fun exploring this. Thanks for joining me.